If you want to learn how to hit returns just like Novak Djokovic, in this video I'm going to break down his return and give you special drills you can do at home. And it's important that you do the drills at home before you go to the court, and that's how you're going to get the most improvement. So let's get started. When we look at Novak's return, it is an absolute phenomenal stroke because it's so compact, it's consistent, and it allows him to take away his opponent's advantage. So let's break it down and look at the three sections of his return that we're going to focus on and show you drills that you can do at home that can really help and improve your game. Now, the very first thing we're going to look at when we look at Novak Djokovic's return is his posture. He has impeccable posture and a wide stance. This does two things. It helps him keep and maintain better balance. If you can maintain better balance when you have the return to serve, you can be more accurate and more consistent. Players that lose their balance tend to hit worse returns because they lose their balance and it takes away from their control of the racket face. So when we look at Novak here, you can see how the posture is exquisite. And you see that wide stance. This is super important. The three things we're going to work on first is looking at his footwork, how he gets on the outside leg and he pushes. And so when he comes out at split step, you're going to notice, boom, he touches down and he selects which shot he's going to hit. Hence, he's going to hit a forehand here. And so he shifts his weight on his outside leg here. And if he's really stretching, he's going to shift and push off that leg into the court. It's really important that you understand this, that regardless of him hitting a forehand or a backhand, he's going to be landing, shifting his weight to his outside foot of the leg he's going to hit the shot on, and then use that leg to push through the court. Now, occasionally what you will see also is if he has to stretch, he takes that wider step to cover ground and then does the exact same thing where he's on his outside leg here and he's going to shift his weight slightly inside the court. And it's really important when you watch, you notice that if he can, he's going to cut through the court or cut it off a little bit. He's going to add his body weight to use that to deflect the power that he's receiving. And this is what really makes his return simple, is because his footwork and his legs are providing the force, not the swing. The second thing we're going to take a look at is his shoulder turn and swing. This is where the money's made, because his shoulder turn allows him to keep a very compact swing, meaning he can deal with a lot of different variations in serve pace. Now, I will say this, Djokovic does mix up his serve return position, sometimes playing very deep in the court, sometimes moving up to the court. But either way, you notice how by using his shoulders, he has a very short swing. So after he comes down, notice right here what he does with his shoulders. His shoulders are pretty much responsible for taking the racket back. It's not that he's using his arms. His shoulders in this position here has coiled, and then it simply uncoils. You can see now how that left shoulder is moving through the court more and pushing the ball or pushing the racket through the ball. You can see the same thing happening on his forehand. Ball comes, outside leg, and instantly you can see how he's coiled his shoulders, which allow him to uncoil his shoulders just a little bit. And what you're noticing is looking how his shoulders facing inside the court, his back shoulders facing behind, and then when he starts swinging, boom, his shoulders are facing sideways. Now, the difference from when he's hitting a normal ground stroke, he'll use his shoulders to take the racket back and then have a much bigger swing to add some momentum to the ball. And then you actually see a lot of times with his right shoulder come all the way through the ball and past contact. But because he's using the pace, not only from deflecting using his legs to push through the ball, but using a very compact swing, you generally don't see his shoulders go past that starting position of his ready position, meaning right around here. Because if that shoulder continues to move forward, it's going to add pace and he's going to lose control, meaning he's going to add pace to a ball with pace. He doesn't want to do that. He simply wants to deflect the ball, get it deep, and get the point started. The third and final element is his timing of his split step and his anticipation. Now, what you're going to notice that Djokovic finds himself in the air. He times it where when his opponent makes contact, he's in the air so he can react to the contact and then land and go in a direction. So if we look at Djokovic here and we look at his practice partner serving, you can see how he's stepping forward and right contact is there. And you can see how he's lifting off the ground, but also right here when he's lifting off the ground, he's slightly moving this way. So if I rewind it, he's doing a split step, but he's doing a split step in direction. I don't recommend this unless you are a highly skilled player or you know something about your opponent, or you're able to pick up certain cues on your opponent. this is a secret that maybe my doubles partner in college will actually kill me for, but he used to always look at where he was going to serve before he served it. I never let him know that I knew this, but he would always look there. And so I could split step and shift in that direction. I knew that clue. I knew that thing. And if you know something about your opponent, like that they like to look in a direction, maybe their shoulders open up when they're going to go wide more, maybe they have a different stance, that's when you can use those clues. Or maybe you just see that they have this pattern of going to the same location during a certain point in the score. If you know that, then yes, you can anticipate. But if you don't guess. Just split step and then find where the ball is going to go. And so you can see Djokovic making that move here to the side. Now in this example, Djokovic doesn't really know, you can tell he doesn't know where the ball is coming. And what I can tell is when he split steps, boom, you can see how both toes are facing forward, and that he didn't make a kind of veer to any direction. In this sense, he doesn't know where the ball's coming. He doesn't have a clue. And even there, you can see how his racket's kind of shifting like he wants to hit a backhand, but then he realizes that, boom, he's got to hit a forehand. And so you can tell how he's making the adjustment based on the player. If he has a clue in this situation and kind of taking the context of the situation, he's hitting practice, doing some practice returns. So he kind of knows, I'm sure he's like, hey, serve it to my forehand, serve it to my backhand. So he's kind of shifting over. But in a real context of a match, you're going to see probably more even split steps unless he's picking up clues. And at his level, I'm sure he can pick up clues. He knows patterns and he knows where certain players like to serve, and he's anticipating those things. Now it's time to work on some drills that you can do at home in a very small space to start improving your return. The very first thing we want to do is get used to your footwork that you need. And the key to the footwork is working with your outside leg. Too many times players get a ball in the return and what they're trying to do is come across, which shuts off their hips, and it doesn't set them up to be mobile. And so what we want to do is get into a good athletic position, like we saw Djokovic, nice wide stance. We saw how his back was really nice and straight, and really focus on, after we split step, boom, I want you to come down on this outside leg and push. Just getting used to going outside leg and push. And even if you don't want to do a split step from now, it's totally fine, but think about outside leg and push. And make sure you do a ton of reps on your forehand and your backhand side. So regardless if you're a one-handed or two-handed backhand, it's the same. Outside leg and push. And then the next level of this is getting used to moving and then getting on your outside leg. So I'm going to create a little bit more space here. And if I come down, I'm going to go move, outside leg, push. Get used to that, doing it so much. Generally, what I find with so many players I work with is that the backhand side is the weaker side on this. Most players are used to crossing over trying to hit compared to going outside leg, or even creating space and going shuffle, outside leg, and push. This is so important. From here, now, you might want to use a racket. You don't have to use a racket, but we want to start focusing on our shoulder and our outside leg. So if I'm in a good ready position, good posture, I'm going to focus on going outside leg, shoulder turn. Now notice my shoulder here. I'm just going to take it, almost point it towards the camera here. So if I'm hitting a forehand, I'm just going to go outside leg, boom, and then boom. Notice what my shoulders are doing. They're simply just turning and then turning back to the original position. And so now we're combining these two things. We're going to go outside leg and load, and I've turned, and then push. Now, the freaky thing is, a lot of times when players do this, they go turn, and then they want to take a bigger swing here. Instead of just going turn and lining up the racket with the ball, and then pushing through. The weight and the power that you're going to get is going to come from the legs, not from you swinging hard, because you're deflecting the pace. And so if we practice here on my forehand side, turn, push, and this is all I need. We'll do a couple more, turn, and push, and then I would do it on the backhand side. I have a one-handed backhand, so I still turn just like this and push. For the one-handed backhand, we're not going to open up as much. So it'd be turn and push, and or pull the shoulder slightly past the my line here. So it's going to go past it. If I had a two-handed backhand, I turn and push like we saw Djokovic. Again, that shoulder is going to push through the ball. The key is now combining these two things, so you start building muscle memory of, if you do get a backhand or you're a two-handed backhand, you can easily go outside leg, push, okay? From here now, we want to start adding in the split step. And so we want to get used to going split, and I've already kind of done it a couple times, outside leg, push. Now the more reps you can get in, the better. What I recommend here is putting on a match and then watching it. And when the opponent's serving, go ahead and go boom, outside leg, here. And what I want you to do is try to match up what side that you see the serve coming on TV. And it would be a little delayed, but that's totally fine because what you're doing is really just focusing on boom, ooh, I got a forehand, boom, boom. I'm doing the footwork and I'm getting that rep in. Ready? Ooh, I got a backhand, turn, boom. If you can do these drills at home and cement it where like it feels like rote memory, like if you're doing martial arts, then when you go out and you're sparring, having that ball come to you, you've already done half the work, meaning that you've already memorized what your body should feel like. And now you get to connect it with where the ball is and making contact and having the racket face to send the ball back where you want. And so if you want to know more drills just like this you could do at home, make sure you go watch this video that'll help you with your forehand and do the exact same thing.